Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena, and in today's video we're going to be making a Muu-Muu from 1967. I'm so excited to tackle this project. I've had this pattern for about a year or two now. I finally have enough fabric and the perfect fabric for this project, so if you're interested in seeing this project be completed, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now let's get into the pattern and the fabric. For today's pattern, I'll be using Simplicity 7088 in a size 12 bust 32. It comes in two views, which is two lengths, a ankle length and just above the knee. For the fabric, I'm using a thin cotton. It's kind of like a lawn material. I'm not sure because I wasn't paying attention when I purchased it, but I did buy a lot of it because if you recognize this floral pattern, I already made a dress from this, and so now I'm just using the scrap. I just barely had enough of this fabric to make this pattern. For a 54-inch wide bolt of fabric, you need 3 yards and 1/8, and I had 3 yards, so I had to do a little bit of like pattern Tetris, but it all worked out. I forgot all about this pattern, otherwise I would have used this fabric for it originally. We are at the part of the year where I wouldn't usually still be sewing summer projects, but I still have fabrics that I absolutely adore, and I'm also thinking that I would rather put these away as outfits for next year instead of folding them back up and putting them in my fabric closet. I think I have one more summer project in me before I'm ready to turn it over into fall, and I do believe I got most of what I wanted to do done. You guys will have to let me know, were you able to make all of the things you wanted before summer ended? This pattern is deceitfully simple and quite quick to sew up. I don't have a whole lot of commentary on what to do. If you can do a straight stitch and follow directions, then you can really throw this together. There are few markings that you have to pay attention to, and that's lining up where the yoke lines up to the rest of the dress. But it has like 2 princess seams that you don't even really have to ease in because it's a very loose flowing garment. Stay stitching is really important on this piece because you don't want the neckline to stretch out or even the underarms, especially if you're using a thinner, softer fabric, and you want to choose a lighter, more flowy fabric so that way it has the optimal drape because you want it to have that flowy drama. Now I'm seaming together the center front and the side front, and I'm doing wrong sides together first because we're doing French seams. After pressing and trimming the seam allowance, then I turn everything right side together and finish up that seam. This makes for a beautiful seam on the inside, and since this is pretty much a shapeless sack, it doesn't take too much longer to do this step, and it's really easy to do on a thin fabric. Speaking of shapeless sack, this is the point where you make the bra hook so that way it really snatches the front in at the waist. And so I'm using elastic for this and swimwear bra hooks, but they do recommend on the pattern that you get a bra repair kit. I wanted to use what I already had, so I just used some elastic for this and then carry on like the instructions tell you to. So I do one side with the bra hook and then the other side is just the loop for it to attach to. I go over it back and forth with a lot of zigzag stitches to really hold that elastic in place. This closure is also known as like a French closure, so it's really quick and easy, and then once you make this part, you move forward. Like I said, the instructions would have you do it using these little tabs. Now you will have to account for the stretch of the elastic, so you might need to use shorter or longer elastic, whatever. I ended up making my elastic too long, but I knew that I would be capable of like adjusting the tabs after the fact in a way that you wouldn't be able to do in reverse. If it was too short, you'd have to take it all apart. Baste the tabs in, then proceed as usual with the French seams. I really like to do French seams in general, but especially on a garment that I know I'm going to wear a lot. So things like my everyday house coats, like the more casual house coats that I know are going to go in the washing machine, shirtwaist dresses, because I wear those a lot as well. My pajamas, those get washed regularly, probably more than regularly. So anything that I know is going to get washed a lot or a lot of use, I use the French seams because they're most durable, and I have a feeling I'm going to wear this a lot. Even if I won't be able to do it this summer, I'll probably live in it next summer. Moving on to the underarm facing, I did interface the underarm facing as well as the yoke facings, and that's just to give it some stability so it doesn't roll or move or even like wrinkle when you put it in the wash. So I'm sewing that on, and then I go back and do an understitch so that way the facing doesn't roll to the front. I also completely sew the facing down on the inside so it shouldn't move in general, and so it looks neater and doesn't flop around when I take it on and off. Now I'm attaching the back yoke, and of course we do gathered side up so that way I can adjust the gathers and make sure there's no pleats. This is the part where precision matters. You want all of your markings to line up on the dress and the yoke so that way everything works well together. Also, you have that deep V in the front and the back. Well, not a deep V, but where the center front and the center back meets, it's a sharp point, and you also want to make sure that you mark where that point is and pivot properly so that way it doesn't fold or look bulky or rounded. So this is the part where you have to be the most careful. Once you get past this, then it's smooth sailing just like the rest of it. I was in such a hurry to get this done. You would have thought I had a vacation to get to, but I was just so excited to have another full coverage garment that I could wear out on the patio in the evening, because even though I've been able to reduce the mosquitoes out there, especially with the cooler nights, they still bite a little. So having less skin showing but also still being able to wear a breathable garment really helps a lot. Now I take the time to understitch, and this is the last bit that I'll be doing by machine before I finish everything off by hand with a needle and thread, including the hem. After this, my first Muu-Muu is complete, and I'm so happy with the shape and the way that it looks. I did preview this over on YouTube Shorts and Instagram before this full-length video was released, and so many people said that this was not a Muu-Muu. It was too pretty, it was too elegant, and they would actually wear it out, and what they're used to calling a Muu-Muu is something that should only be worn indoors. I don't actually have a dog in this fight, since I was only calling it a Muu-Muu because that's what was written on the pattern, so you have to let me know in the comment section below what you would call it and what's the real definition of a Muu-Muu. Part of me feels like if this is an original Muu-Muu, that the other Muu-Moos, the shapeless granny outfits that most people were referencing, is just the name became a catch-all for any shapeless garment, but like I have no way of knowing. Either way, I absolutely adore this one, and I already wore it out to the grocery store and I felt fabulous. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It's the best free way to support me. If you'd like to support me any further, you can leave me a virtual tip over on Ko-fi or become a bobbin over on Patreon. We would love to have you. Special thanks to Kate for sending me hair canvas from my wish list. Thanks so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!